are just weird. That's where they are.
It's the weirdest thing. He'll go and like literally hug an American flag. Now, I love the flag, but I mean, it's like weird what he does.
I mean, on the other side, they're just weird. I mean, they really are.
Nobody's ever called me weird. I'm a lot of things, but weird I'm not. And I'm up front. And he's not either, I will tell you. JD is
I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good.
JD is not at all. They are. It's always soundbite. And the press picks it up. You notice the evening news, every one of them talk, they introduce the word weird, and all of a sudden they're talking about weird. No, we're not weird people. We're actually just the opposite.
I love you guys.
Fuck you! But I think Trump has a better shot than a lot of people would like to think. I'm just saying, it all depends on how the left talks.
I want to talk about how mega corporate MAGA media got exactly what they wanted.
Surrender to our greatest adversary, which is Russia. And so I'm looking at somebody who will be willing to let a tyrant do whatever he wants in the world.
It's like watching somebody else fuck your girl. And I say, fuck her better than that.
Going to be intimidated away from telling the American people the truth, which is Donald Trump truly is a threat to democracy in this country, and we have to stop that. But we stop it at the ballot box.
Well, the way we're talking is not going to win the fucking ball game. Donald Trump's over there on the right, grabbing handfuls of pussy. Joe Biden can't even smell hair over here. Fuck this side.
Trump later claimed he misspoke in the press conference with Putin.
This just shows how big a problem misinformation can be.
But then came his second statement that shocked US lawmakers and the intelligence community, when he said this year that if re-elected, he would encourage Russia to attack NATO allies who fail to pay their way.
That's not how NATO works. They pay more than their fair share. It is absolutely absurd to suggest otherwise.
Go ahead, ask me a question.
What the fuck you gonna do if Trump get reelected?
What am I gonna do if Trump get reelected? Probably get a significant tax break. Hey, you wanna know why I don't even talk about Trump in my show? Because that motherfucker is not the hokey pokey. He is not what it's all about. There's millions of people that put him in power, and the ideas that he puts forth are not his own. He's singing poor white people's greatest hits. So why the fuck would I worry about him and not the other millions? Really, you know who I'm gonna vote for next time if things keep going the way it's going is that gay dude. No, Mike Pence.
Even a well-meaning fact check can wind up amplifying a false story. So all of us, please, have a responsibility to stop the spread of vicious rumors like J.D. Vance had sex with a couch.
Well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes. Let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
That is not just the stupidest statement I've heard somebody make. It also, frankly, borders on being a traitor to our country.
Because it's simply not true, which is why we have to refuse to use the hashtag cushion pushing JD Vance.
Hell, we're the ones that are behind here. Not NATO. Because Republicans hold it up every single time it comes up in Congress.
You don't pay your bills, you get no protection.
That is tantamount to inviting aggression by Russia, and you can bet that they took due note of it not only in the Kremlin, but in Beijing as well.
We're always late.
That's why I certainly won't ever perform the juvenile chant, J.D. Vance is sitting on a couch, his pee-pee hit the zipper and ouch.
I mean, to basically say that an enemy, an adversary like Russia, ought to be able to attack other NATO countries and that we're not going to do anything about it, I think betrays our country.
You know, sometimes I feel like it's not so obvious to some people.
How do we talk about where we are in this election without crossing the line between free speech and inflammatory rhetoric?
Well, and this is very important because what you're actually going to see right now is trying to intimidate those around Joe Biden.
Troubling twist to this story, because as of this morning, the AP had removed their fact check, which can mean only one of two things. Either the original story does not meet the AP's rigorous standards, or J.D. Vance had sex with a couch.
This guy is going to come after us all.
It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything.
What's that? I'm sorry, I'm being told that is a plank of wood, not J.D. Vance.
Look, anybody that is rational and sane knows when you say things like we have to stop Donald Trump or Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, that we're talking about dealing with that in a political context, not in a violent context.
Jim, can we get a picture of J.D. Vance?
I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President Barack Obama, saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort. So my question, sir, now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all, I don't think I've ever been asked a question so in such a horrible manner. First question. You don't even...
Hi. We need to come together to recognize that illegal immigrants are being released from insane asylums, to turn your kids into trans librarians.
You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
That the convention wouldn't just go ahead, it would continue with a vengeance.
Somewhere between Kid Rock and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, they managed to slip in some more Nazi shit.
No, we're toning down the rhetoric. Remember, I don't want to continue anything with a vengeance. I want to continue everything with a bong hit, a pint of Ben & Jerry's.
Marry, fuck, kill, Michelle, Rihanna, Oprah.
Wait, who's Michelle? Oh, Obama. Well, sir, you're putting me in quite the pickle. I can't say I'll fuck Michelle Obama. It's insane. Well, I guess I mean, because I wouldn't kill any of those women, but I'd fuck all 3 of them.
I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. They couldn't get their equipment working or something was wrong.
Mr. President, I would love if you could answer the question on your rhetoric and why you
I have
believe that
answered the
black voters should
question.
trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President Johnson, who signed the Voting Rights Act?
For you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late.
Unity.
And he said, let me ask you a question, Dave. He said, say it is illegal to fuck women. How long are you staying out of jail?
If you say that Joe Biden is not compos mentis, you're a conspiracy theorist. And now he's dropped out. So how can he still be the commander-in-chief? And not only that, they've been saying, oh, Donald Trump being reelected is a threat to democracy. Well, who's just taken a very large crap on democracy by saying we had a nomination process, 13 million Democrats chose Joe Biden, but we're just going to rip that up. Who cares about who you chose?
You know, people ask what gives me hope.
Come on.
And I'll tell you.
Event. I said, I'm doing a show at the Punchline. Why don't you come by the club after your event? He's like, cool, Dave. I thought you was dead, nigga. I'll come by. He says, is it okay if I bring some friends? Because, you know, I'm with a lot of people. I go, man, you Chris Tucker. You can bring whoever the fuck you want. And then I show up to the club late that night. I walk into the dressing room, and sitting in the dressing room is Gavin Newsom, who at the time was the mayor of San Francisco, but now he's the governor of California. And sitting next to him was Kamala Harris, who at the time was the DA of San Francisco. Now she's the senator from California that's front running on the Democratic ticket.
Trump claims the moment has now changed him. He said he will adopt a different tone going forward in this campaign.
Look, this is going to be a different tone.
The attack on Trump has changed the storyline and the tone of this convention, with the former president calling for unity.
You're going to be so blessed.
Yeah, just do whatever you want. Russia, are you listening?
Bottle of Nugenix Total T. From the brand that brought you GNC's #1 vitality product, new Nugenix Total T is our most powerful man-boosting formula ever because it boosts your free testosterone and your total testosterone.
What we've seen over the last several years of the Biden administration, which is more taxpayer dollars going to that conflict without any end goal. What is the goal at the end of the day? Instead, they continue to ask American taxpayers to send our treasure, which is our funding and our taxpayer funding, overseas.
He was a self-described never-Trumper, calling the former president cultural heroin and speculating that Trump might be America's Hitler.
Are you listening?
Yikes.
Good.
How do you get the job after that?
Let me tell you a story.
You people who support this guy are about to lose your country. He's not gonna fix it. He's gonna fuck it up.
As you called me Satan incarnate, Voldemort's ugly, unstable brother, and a slightly more perverted Jared from Subway. Oh, but you are proficient.
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
We don't have toilet water flying out on.
This is a low T alert. The FDA has announced an investigation into the possible dangers associated with testosterone therapy. If you are a man who is prescribed a low T drug, you may be entitled to significant compensation.
Welcome aboard.
And sitting next to her was Al Gore. It's fucking weird. And sitting next to Al Gore was the guys from Google, Sergey, and I don't know how to say these. All right. And it was Chris Tucker and Ben Jealous, who at the time was the president of the NAACP, who was all just at this big charity dinner, and Paul Mooney was drinking scotch. And we all was just in there. And, you know, first I was a little uncomfortable when we started talking, and we all got along really well. Well, at some point, Kamala Harris says to me, she goes, you know, a friend of mine is announcing his candidacy for president tomorrow. I went to college with him. I'm like, what? I go, Barack Obama? She goes, you've heard of him.
While we have severe challenges here at home, and I think that's when we get back to that America First approach.
Federal judge and doll you keep throwing away but always turns up in your kid's room Eileen Cannon. Good golly gosh. Eileen Cannon is one of the most woefully unqualified, biased fellow Americans.
Trump were to essentially conspire with Putin to allow Ukraine to fall, he would be planting the seed for Putin moving into other democracies to try to get rid of them as well. So it's a frightening prospect.
We are looking at mass deportations. Don't believe me? They were chanting it at the Republican National Convention.
Close the border, and I want to drill.
That's not.
And they point to his own words when he was asked this year about what he would do if he regained the presidency.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, other than day one."
Calling Republicans weird, which is weird in and of itself.
It's so weird.
Democrats say J.D. Vance is weird?
J.D. Vance is somehow weird and not the party that brought people like Sam Brinton, who stole everybody's luggage at the airport.
After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
So when he says he's a dictator for a day, he really means, look, I want to be dictator for life. I want to create a dynasty here for myself and my family, and I'm a human wrecking ball.
There's some weird policies on the left, like porn in kids' classrooms. You know what's really weird? Leaving our borders open. What I think is weird is not thinking for yourself.
And nobody noticed.
I'm like, yo, I just read about this dude. And she goes, yo, yeah, blah, 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 we talking. She goes, you know what? She says, let's call him on the phone. I said, what the fuck? And she picks the phone up and she dials and she's listening like this. And she goes, this is voicemail. And she gives me the phone. She goes, leave him a message. I didn't know what to say. I just said what you say to any black dude that's running for president. Stay low, running a zigzag pattern, this kind of shit.
In this moment, we are in a fight for our most fundamental freedoms. And to this room of leaders, I say, bring it on. Bring it on.
Far-left Democrats have taken time away from building a socialist abortion laser to call good, honest patriots like J.D. Vance and Marjorie Taylor Greene weird.
President Trump, he's taken this whole phony narrative about dictator, which I explained to you is going to be the furthest thing from the truth. We're trying to resurrect the last smidgens of democracy here. But, he said, tongue-in-cheek, I'll be dictator on two issues. One is energy, but two, the border. He's going to shut the border down. We just want to say May. We never get to say May. Very partial to Australians.
Republicans are weird. Democrats are the ones who want to make AP butt stuff a requirement for elementary schools. They're the ones milking almonds, which, last I checked, don't have nipples.
Hi, I'm Paul Dans. I'm director of the 2025 Presidential Transition Project, otherwise known as Project 2025. I had previously served under Donald Trump as his chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management in his first term.
They're the ones providing litter boxes to illegal immigrants who identify as Garfield. No MAGAs to Mondays? Then get out. You know who else they called weird? Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, the Unabomber. He went to Harvard. Republicans have so many wonderful patriots in their ranks.
That's the Democrats. They don't give a flying fig about democracy. This is a great day for those who want to take back America from those who are trying to destroy it, which includes Biden and Kamala. Because nobody's disagreed in the Democrat Party, or nobody of any consequence, with what Biden has done for the last 3.5 years. So, it is on them. The culpability is theirs. Whoever they pick, President Trump will have the same counter message.
They're going to change the government fundamentally from the inside so that they can carry out their plans. They got to get rid of all those people that made it hard last time.
Look at this man. Does he look weird to you? Hey, stop calling Republicans weird. You guys are being so unwoke right now. Stop it. Stop it. It's so unfair. It's just so juvenile. It's doo-doo. It's poo-poo head. They go poo-poo in diaper.
As a a coalition coming together. So many of us did come from prior service in the Trump administration.
There's even a 920-page publicly available playbook outlining plans to transform the presidency, including to give Donald Trump unprecedented reach to take on his political enemies.
This book, this agenda, the entire Project 2025 is a plan to unite the conservative movement and the American people against elite rule and woke culture warriors.
Deep state destroys America, or we destroy the deep state. That's the way it's got to be.
What does weird even mean? What does it mean? No one knows what it means. Why won't they tell us what weird means so we know how to respond?
Maybe you don't think you're a neo-Marxist. You don't get to make that call.
My pronouns are not and weird. No, that's not. But not and not weird. Not weird and she, her. No.
Now, when we came in, I didn't use the phrase deep state. I thought it was a little bit tinfoil hatty, and no, I'm not going to use that. Then I saw it. It is stunning how the unelected bureaucracy thought they had a right to blockade a man chosen by 63 million Americans to be the president. It was stunning. It's truly stunning.
They want to disband or let go tens of thousands of government employees. They've got their legions of followers believing this great paranoia that we live in a deep state society, which is, of course, a bunch of complete nonsense.
I would accept it if liberals attacked Donald Trump for an actual flaw, but he does not have one. God bathed him in the milk of perfection. Not weird.
He means you're gone. Be lucky you're not in jail.
And then the last thing I say is, you know what? I said, sir, I really do believe you can do this. Like, man, I'm wishing you luck. Now, next day I wake up and go for coffee at a place called the Embarcadero. It's like an eatery by the sea in San Francisco. And I'm walking to the coffee shop and there's a police line and I can't cross the tape. But then I figure, fuck it, I'm Dave Chappelle, so I go into the thing like this. And the police yoke me. These motherfuckers like tackle me immediately. And I see over the police's shoulder Gavin Newsom. I couldn't remember his name, but I remember the night before I had kept teasing him and saying he looked like Christian Bale, the guy from the Batman movies.
Nonsensical un-Americans. Okay, they're against the values that the society has lived by. They're going to stress the system in a way that it hasn't been stressed since the American Civil War. And it's going to be hard on the country because, we're polarized.
The 2025 Project 2025 is a new paradigm in helping a conservative president be ready to govern day one. This is really an attempt by us as a movement to come together and get ready. It's a preparation.
It is so disappointing to see these childless socialists stoop so low.
John Bolton says that he's an idiot.
I think it's a disgrace.
Do we really want someone running our country that doesn't know what Finland is?
I'm so weird. How come none of the strangers that I talk to in the YouTube comments of Flat Earth videos have ever called me that before? You know what? I don't have time for this weird nonsense because I have to go protest in front of a library because there's a book in there with boobies in it.
So I see him and I can't remember the name, so I'm just like, Batman, help! And he stops. He's like, Dave? And then the police see that the mayor knows me, so they're all like, oh, sorry about that. And he's like, hey, back up, everybody. And he just picks me up. He's like, I'm really sorry about that. I'm like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And he's like, listen, I'm here with Prince. Would you like to meet him? I'm like, I know Prince. That's my nigga. And we go around the corner, and it was Prince Charles, the Prince of England. I didn't know the protocol of meeting royalty. You're not supposed to touch him. I dapped him up like a nigga. My nigga. Just hugging him and shit like this, dapping him up. Like this. And that nigga was cool too. That's really fucking weird.
We'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first Black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language to you? And will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
diversity, equity, inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Is that what your definition?
That is
give me a
literally
definition
the words
then. Would you give me a definition
DEI.
of that?
Our goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained and prepared conservatives to go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state.
Give me a definition.
Sir, I'm asking you a question, a very direct question.
Define it for me, if you
I
would.
just defined it, sir. Do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say, no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage. And
we will succeed.
This is way worse than you could possibly imagine. We cannot allow this to happen. And Democrats, you let them take your president.
You know, a major liability for Kamala Harris. She wants to ban plastic straws.
She wants to ban plastic straws. I love my plastic straw. I hate those paper straws.
That's the best you got? Really seems like you're grasping at something. I don't know what exactly.
Do we really want mega corporate MAGA media to dictate who we marry or who we fuck? Do you want them making the decisions as to who should be killed? I'm Zachariah, Lone Star Liberal. That's Rihanna, Michelle, Oprah. Y'all take it easy.
Don't forget, Kamala Harris is against plastic straws, so you don't have to look beyond that as an economic policy.
Although, when you think about it, it does make sense that Fox News would be obsessed with straws. After all, they suck.
By the way, marry, fuck, kill. It's Rihanna, Michelle, Oprah. Obviously. She'd give us Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz. I mean, I bet Michelle can throw down.
Makes sense. That's verified. There you go.
Trans immigrants are taking our cheeseburgers.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Don't negotiate, let's investigate. We'll accelerate how we're taking him down.